topics in Illinois underwriting. I have my boss with me today, Marty Can. He's the state counsel for First American Title. We wanted to give a little recap of our recent seminars that we gave in the month of October. We were in Elk Grove Village and Marion and Decatur, and we had pretty good attendance, but for those of you that didn't attend, the information will be available on AgentNet, and we just wanted to give you a quick recap. Our first presenter at the seminar was actually via computer. She was with Eagle Academy, and she went through the steps on how to submit an over-limit underwriting request on AgentNet, and she did a good job. Her name was Teresa Sullivan.
After that, we had just a presentation on working with First American Title. That was presented by Julie Smith and Melissa Cummings, some of you may know, in agency administration, telling how to submit things online and just generally working with First American.
And then we had a really good presentation from Tom O'Shea. He's with the Commercial Due Diligence Services with First American Title, and he went into good detail on the minimum requirements. Effective February 23rd, we did have an underwriting communication, as you will recall, about that as well.
And then after that, the poor participants were subjected to me talking about locking down your cyber presence and various cyber criminal activities and ways to prevent cyber fraud.
It was riveting.
That's the word I would have used.
Yes, and of course, my presentation was on the new ALT commitment form that became effective August 1st. It's going to be available next August 2017 with First American. There's a fly. And there's a couple of new endorsements, and then I went through all the covered risk under our policies.
At our Elk Grove seminar, we had two guest speakers there. The first was John Lartz, who's the Deputy Director at Acting Title Insurance Supervisor in Illinois. And he talked about some very timely topics regarding title insurance and what the department is there for and what they do. We also had Jeannie Burke, who was with First American 1031 Exchange, talking about 1031 exchanges. So First American does have a division that deals just with 1031 exchanges, and she would be a great one to contact if you have any questions or if you have people interested in 1031.
She puts out a good monthly newsletter too. It's a lot of good information. Then we also had James Powell, and he was with ASG Services and from Michigan, and he explained how you can order a search for First American Title, either on a one-time basis if you want, if you have an employee that's on vacation, or you have a really complex, complicated file that you really don't want to spend 3 weeks doing, or if you want help all the time. So James had some good information.
And then last but not least, we had our Illinois Agency Sales Manager, Phil Stein, who is also our cameraman today, talking about the changing landscape in Illinois, particularly what's going on with the Title Insurance Act and proposed changes there, some legislation, and some changes at our regulator.
Very good. I usually like to include a question of the month, and since Marty did a good presentation on cyber fraud, I thought this was a good one to include. And I'm going to have to put my glasses on because I can't read the small print. But one of my best real estate agents called me to get some bank account information as a potential buyer. Contacted her and said that she wanted to send a cash for earnest money. And it was a large amount of earnest money. It was a foreign buyer. They were buying a farm, sight unseen. $450,000 was the sales price. She wanted to send me. She wanted to send the agent $250,000. Although the real estate agent agreed that something just didn't seem right, she wanted to know what my take was on it.
And although this isn't really a title insurance question, it's a good one, and from time to time our agents encounter that. So your instincts are correct to be concerned about it. Anytime you're dealing with a foreign buyer for a lot of cash, there could be a fraud situation involved in there. You can go online, you can type in foreign purchaser scam, and all kinds of stuff will show up on the internet regarding this type of scam where the buyer is actually a fraudster, sends in funds, asks that all the earnest money after a day or two be returned because the deal fell through. So the funds have never been sent, and they're removing funds to cover those that are never actually received by the agent. So you want to make sure that when you're dealing with foreigners, that you're dealing with foreign checks, that you have good funds, and you are dealing with an entity on the other end.
You check with your bank too to make sure when good funds are good. How many, sometimes don't different banks have different days?
Absolutely, and you want to follow
They
what
have
your
to
particular bank. Yeah, that's a good point. Sometimes it's a shorter period of time, it'll be a couple of days. Other
Right.
times they'll have up to 2 weeks where they'll want to make sure that the funds are good, particularly when they're coming from a foreign source.
Yeah, great. And then finally, I know I had in the past tooted my horn about being a member of the Illinois Land Title Association. Since I'm on the board of members and we've talked about their benefits, we had the new president, Gary Sperling, as a guest. Well, I wanted to expand that to the American Land Title Association. Their membership has some great benefits as well. You can register for free webinars if you are a member regarding closing instructions and various things. And next month I'm going to have our newly inducted ALTA president, Daniel Menino, be a guest speaker, and he will elaborate on the ALT benefits. And we're very proud that the president of the ALTA is from Illinois and is a first American title agent. And as you might recall, the past president was First American Title's John Holmbeck.
So looking very forward to that.
Yep.
Seeing what his agenda is and what goals that he hopes that Alta is going to focus on for 2016, 2017.
Yeah. That does it for November. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next month.
Thanks.